Welcome back to another race for you guys. My name is Tyler, and tonight we are returning to the dirt track. That's right, World of Outlaws are back on track at Volusia Speedway Park in Florida for night number 1 of the weekend. Tomorrow night on Saturday, we're going to be going back to East Bay for the first time since 1983 when some guy named Steve Kinzer won the last time that the World of Outlaws were on track at that track. But tonight is Volusia Speedway Park. The last time we were here, Logan Schuchart put on a clinic and left with the World of Outlaws point lead. Here is how the World of Outlaws points would stack up going into tonight. But let's kick it right off with hot laps. Then we got qualifying, heat races, B main action, dash, and then the A main feature tonight. So let's get right into it. Have a great time, guys. So this would be the 47th appearance for the World of Outlaws at Volusia Speedway Park, and tonight we'd have 24 cars at the track, and most of the all-stars and non-outlaw regulars that have been hanging around with the World of Outlaws to start off their season were not at the track now, so we were going to get a really good sense of who was going to be the top guys on a night-to-night basis with the World of Outlaws. The track record was safe and sound, set by Paul McMahon back in 2011, and we would be nowhere near that one tonight. David Gravel would come out and set a fastest lap in hot laps of a 13.3, and the track was not really speeding up throughout qualifying and kind of slowing down, to be honest. Jason Sides actually was supposed to go out first, but they had engine issues in their hot lap session and scurried around, made the changes, but missed their qualifying spot, and he would go out last, and that would be really detrimental to setting a faster time because he would set one of those slower times just by going towards the end of the qualifying session. Sheldon Hodenshield, after having a horrible start to the season, would actually go fastest with a 12.2. So the track really wasn't changing a whole lot. It wasn't getting faster, it really wasn't getting slower. And we were only about a lane and a half, 2 lanes up off the bottom, and the track really wasn't moving up too fast either. Obviously, with modifieds coming onto the track, we were expecting that it would, obviously, and we were hoping that by heat races that the track would get some passing speed and we'd be able to see some good passing in the heat races. Sheldon qualified fastest, like I said. Second fastest was PPM Parker Price Miller, who is a Rookie of the Year contender. And like I said in one of my previous videos, they are coming out guns blazing, ready to go. And it's so good to see Parker, one of the younger guys on the World of Outlaw Tour and one of the young talents in America, getting back on top in a sprint car. And then third fastest was David Gravel after setting fastest in his hot lap session. He would qualify third fastest. Fourth was Brian Brown. Fifth was Logan Schuchart. And with the World of Outlaws format, it's so important for you to be fastest every single time that you were out on the track, whether you're doing hot laps, qualifying, heat races, the dash, and then obviously the features. It's so important that you be on top of your game every single time because the fastest qualifiers are going to start further up in their heat races. So Sheldon's going to start on the pole of his heat race, PPM on the pole of his heat race, and David on the pole of his heat race. And let's go right into heat race action. So we're gonna go 8 laps for each of the heat races. We got 3 heat races, 8 cars in each of them, and the top 2 is going to the dash, and we would go to a redraw for them. Sheldon Hodenshield was fastest in qualifying tonight, so he's gonna start on the pole of heat race number 1, and he picks up right where he left off on speed and shoots out to the early lead. Brent Marks would actually start in the last row and charge forward really quick within the first lap and battle with CARSON MACEDO in the 41 car for 5th. Ultimately, he would finish 5th and CARSON would finish in front of him. And Gio Scelzi would actually be searching around a lot, trying to get around Brian Brown for the final transfer spot into the dash. And with 2 laps to go, he would go around the outside and pass him. So we got Sheldon Hodenshield winning heat race number 1 and Gio Scelzi going to the dash with him. Heat race number 2 was absolutely stacked. We had Kasey Kahne, Brad Sweet, Donnie Schatz, Logan Schuchart, and Parker Price Miller all in the same heat. Logan would start up front and he would get out to the early lead. PPM would try to get around him within the first couple laps, but just couldn't do it. He actually would finish 2nd behind Logan in heat race number 2, so those guys are going to the dash. Brad Sweet started 5th after a pretty poor qualifying effort, and he would actually finish 5th, and Donnie Schatz would come home in 3rd. Kasey Kahne was right behind him. At this point, the track was pretty one lane. They did a lot of track work before the heat race action tonight. It was a little early to be doing that much track work as the track was really starting to go in the right direction and working its way up, but they worked it in and it was pretty grimy and pretty slick early on. But I got a feeling come feature time, it's gonna be pretty quick around the bottom, and the top, as always at Volusia, is gonna be up against the wall. David Gravel would start on the pole of heat race number 3, and Sam Hafertepe, Aaron Reitzel, and Corey Eliason would wage war for that final transfer spot into the dash. Ultimately, Sam Hafertepe, picking up right where he left off when we were at Volusia last time, is gonna get into yet another dash, and he'll go to the dash redraw with the winner, David Gravel, as we go into the dash redraw. So we'd go to the dash redraw, and Sam Hafertepe Jr. would actually pull the number 1 and will start on the pole of the dash, trying to secure yet another great starting spot at Volusia Speedway Park. Sheldon Hodenshield, who's been fast all night, pulls the number 2 and is gonna start outside front row. Logan Schuhart draws the 6, and he'll start last in the dash. And as we're pushing off for the dash, Sheldon Hodenshield comes to a stop, and when it rains, it pours. He can't get pushed off. He goes to the infield. They're having MSD box issues. The same exact issue that stole number 300 from Donnie Schatz the last time we were on the track now steals a front row starting spot in the dash for Sheldon Hodenshield and just makes the night a little bit tougher. He's ultimately credited with 6th, and Sam Hafertepe actually looks really, really strong in the dash and finishes 1st. He'll start on the pole of tonight's feature. David Gravel took advantage of the flip-flop on the start, and he would actually start on the inside of the 2nd row in the dash and would charge up to 2nd, getting around PPM, who would fall through the field. So David is gonna start on the front row as well. So it's almost feature time. The track is really starting to widen out. The bottom is definitely probably gonna be the place to be tonight, as the top is only about 3/4 of the way up the track. It's getting a little racier as we're watching some of the modifieds, but this is how they're gonna line up for the feature tonight. Sam Hafertepe, who picked up the dash win tonight, is looking strong. In his heat race, they actually said that they made a bunch of changes to make them better later on in the night rather than early on. It seems like he's always started up front every time we've come to Volusia here so far in the 2021 season, but never can put together a finish. So it'll be interesting to see how he holds on to that front row starting spot. David's gonna start to his outside, and then buried about halfway through the field, we've got Brad Sweet. Brad's currently 2nd in points right now, with David in 3rd and Logan right in front of him in 1st. And so it'll be interesting to see how Brad kind of comes through the field. I got a feeling early on he's gonna get to the bottom and start charging through the field. Brad has become one of the best, along with Logan and of course Donnie, at rolling the bottom. So I got a feeling these guys are gonna get there quick and start charging up through the field. Sheldon, after having those MSD box issues, he's gonna start 6th, so it's gonna be interesting to see if he can charge forward here. We're gonna go 30 laps, 24 cars as the World of Outlaws return to the dirt. So we just finished up the 30-lap feature. This is the 3rd race of the World of Outlaws season, and boy, did it not fail. We've had so many great races, and we've been so blessed as World of Outlaws and sprint car racing fans to see some great races so far this season, and this one didn't fail either. Even when we thought that the track was gonna go away or it was just gonna be around the bottom, no, it was up around the top, very racy. At one point, we got about a car width off the wall, and a slide job for the lead towards the end. So let's get right into this race review. Sam Hafertepe was starting on the pole, and to his outside was David Gravel, and these guys would kind of go back and forth for the lead. David really never got around Sam, but really kind of pushed him to get the pace going early on. Sam would get into lap traffic after just 5 laps and was really setting the pace around the top. Guys like Sheldon Hodenshield, Gio Selzy, and Logan Schuhart were right there battling for the podium spot early on in the race. But with about 10 laps into the race, Logan Schuhart actually spins and brings out our first caution of the night. The Shark Racing luck comes to an end, and Logan Schuhart would go to the back of the pack after not really sustaining damage, but coming to a stop in turn 3 and 4 after getting together with Gio Selzy. Double foul restart, Sam would go out to the lead again, and a few laps later, the caution would come out again, and the other Shark Racing teammate for Logan Schuhart, Jacob Allen, his struggles for the night would continue. They've had engine issues all night, and now they've got a mag box going bad, and he wouldn't even come out for the end of the race. So tough luck for the Shark Racing team early on in this feature event. Guys like Brad Sweet and Donnie Schatz that we thought were going to maybe get to the bottom and start driving through the pack, that was nowhere to be seen. Brad Sweet actually comes home 11th, and I don't even think the Dirt Vision broadcast ever cut to his car. He was nowhere to be seen throughout the feature, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the point standings. And then Donnie Schatz, he was up around the top 5 most of the night. At one point, I think he got up to 3rd. In the closing laps, though, we started to see this guy that came from 10th, and that is CARSON MACEDO. CARSON didn't make the dash tonight for the JJR 41, but he would start 10th. And early on, about halfway through the race, we started seeing, after that first double file restart, that he was already up to like 4th, and then quickly got up to 3rd. And then right after that, he got around David for 2nd. When they got into lap traffic, with about 8 laps to go, David and Sam got into Jason's sides going into turn 1 with about 8 laps to go. David and Sam split. Jason going down the backstretch. CARSON was lurking, and a few laps later, CARSON set up David, got around him, and then set up Sam and got around him on the bottom, throwing a slide job with about 5 laps to go. And CARSON would just drive away. He was one of the only cars that seemed to be able to pass people, and he would win. This is Phil Beat's 5th driver in 5 different seasons that he's picking up wins with. He's definitely one of the best right now, and for that JJR team, he might be a godsend coming back to that team after starting his own team last year. So it's going to be really interesting to see if CARSON MACEDO can be one of those top guys in the point standings. The points probably definitely got tight after tonight. You know, coming into tonight, we were like 8 points apart for the lead, with Logan Schuchart being on top. Well, he actually comes home 9th ahead of Brad Sweet, who struggled, right? So he's probably going to have some points there, but then David actually finished 5th above them. So the points are going to get really tight here. Like I said from the top, we've weeded out some of these all-star guys that were with us early on in the season. So the top 5 guys probably are going to be expected to be World of Outlaw regulars, and that's the kind of competition that we can expect all season long. It was a good rebound for Sheldon. He comes home with a good finish inside the top 10, and it was a great salvage after having just misfortunes in that dash. Sam comes home 2nd. Still looking for his first win in quite a while with the World of Outlaws, but he definitely looked fast tonight, and I'll be interested to see how they do when they come back to Texas. Sam's from East Texas, so when they go down to Cotton Bowl Speedway, it'll be really interesting to see if he's there, or at Devil's Bowl, which is right down the road here in Dallas. It'll be interesting to see if Sam can pick up a win there. Gio Selzy actually comes home in 3rd, and so congrats to CARSON MACEDO on picking up the win. We're going to be back tomorrow night at East Bay for the first time since 1983. It'll be a doozy of a race, I'm sure, again. If the weather wins tomorrow, we will be back on Sunday. So stay tuned. Keep up to date with the World of Outlaws action on Dirt Vision, on Twitter, and on Facebook. And I will see you guys at the next track. Have a good one. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single bit of the action around the World of Outlaws and All-Star Series throughout 2021. I can't wait to see you at the next track, and have a wonderful day.